We have Tim Horton, who's Director of Research at the Fabian Society. So Tim, over to you.
Thanks so much. And it's great for us to be at this event. We've worked with Unions 21 in the past, and I'm delighted we can keep doing that. I mean, just picking up on your quote from Polly, really, I thought I'd start just by setting some of the context at the plight that young workers or potential young workers face today, before moving on to talk about the pamphlet. And of course, the context for all of this right now is the recession and the poor economic performance following that, as well as the government's spending cuts. You know, I agree with Polly, it's really obscene in a way that the government has sought to justify the cuts by saying, oh, well, it won't be fair on future generations, it won't be fair on young people if we don't make these cuts. In fact, the group of people that are being most damaged by today's spending cuts are young people and future generations of young people. And I mean that across the piece, whether it's cuts to housing, cuts to environmental protection, cuts to employment services and skills. It will be young people who feel the brunt of these the most. In a way, it's the kindest thing one generation can do for the next, to borrow responsibly, to invest. That's what our grandparents did with the NHS. I'm very glad they did. And it's really that bit of the social contract that the government have really just washed their hands off completely. Now, as you said, we've got a big problem. Youth unemployment is at about 20%. The government have gone on a crusade of cutting a lot of the relevant services and infrastructure to do something about that, whether it's things like the Future Jobs Fund that they got rid of, the cuts to skills that we've seen, tripling of higher education fees and charges in further education. There has been a small expansion of apprenticeships, but there's still a chronic lack of apprenticeships for school leavers. Most of the people going in apprenticeships recently, I understand, have been over 25. And these are people probably who would have gone into trades again before that was scrapped. Government say they want to make work pay, cut the working tax credit. They're cutting support with childcare. That's not making work pay for many people. They've got no vision of industrial strategy. We've got a huge problem in the UK compared to many other countries, in that we have not only a problem with skills, but many of the jobs in our economy are very low-skilled jobs. They're not good enough jobs. And the government really has no vision, no ambition to try and get stuck in and create the labour market that we want and that we deserve as a country. I'm used to conservatives saying that the reason why people don't do so well in life is poverty of ambition. Well, the biggest problem we have with poverty of ambition in the UK is poverty of the government's ambition for people. It seems just to want to stand back, and it's doing very, very little. Now, in that context, that makes the role of unions, I think, just that much more important. And I'm not just talking about the short-term problems we're suffering, but the lack of long-term vision and the ideological cuts. And this pamphlet being launched today, I think goes through in a lot of detail many of those roles. There's campaigning roles, trying to stop what's going on where it's bad. There are traditional roles, bargaining and so on and so forth. But also many of the more practical roles that unions that have grown up in recent years of actually delivering services for members, whether it's union reps, whether it's mentoring, whether it's advice. You know, advice would be a key area. The government have cut back careers advice, they've cut back youth advice, youth services have been decimated, connections has gone. So the advisory role becomes very important, as you say, not just for those already in work, but for young people more generally. So, and I mean, I haven't got time to go through many of the chapters in this. I think look at those challenges and opportunities in great detail. So do have a look at it. The final thing I'd say, and I'm being shown the pencil, which means I've got to pipe down, is really just that, I mean, obviously it's a very difficult situation in the country at the moment. I don't want to kind of say that's a wonderful opportunity, that sounds crass. But there is an opportunity here for unions as well to reach out to much wider communities of younger people than they have in the past. You know, many young people don't really know about the union movement, don't know what it does, union movement as a, is wrestling to change its social image. And I think this is a real opportunity to reach out to many of those new groups of younger people, and I hope unions will take that opportunity as well, because it's very important, I think, for the country that they succeed.
Thanks, Tim.